former royal correspondent, literally hot foot from Buckingham Palace, where you've been witnessing scenes as well this morning, Nicholas. No let-up in the crowds either in London or in Edinburgh, as we're seeing.
No, absolutely not. I was there a bit early this morning and it was quite quiet, but very quickly London filling up. I kept thinking, shouldn't these people be at work? No, I suppose not. That's fine, you know.
Even if they just take a moment from a lunch break or something,
well,
to share in the event.
Well, moments from lunch break are going to get tricky because the crowds are so great.
Really?
It's very difficult to get round. And, of course, roads are having to be cordoned off. An awful lot of restrictions are coming in, inevitably.
How do you police and make safe an event like this, the sort of crowd gatherings that we're going to witness over the coming days?
How do we police it? Well, a jolly difficult job. I think Mark Rowley, the new Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, has already said it's a terrific challenge facing his officers. I cast my mind back, being a little on the older side, to previous funerals, of course, and we thought the crowds that turned out for Diana, Princess of Wales particularly, the Queen Mother and so on, but I think they're going to be nothing compared with what we are going to see in the next few days, especially if the weather holds, They're talking about in London 700,000. That sounded to me like a police estimate, which is always an underestimate.
Yeah.
And then we talk about 1 million, possibly 2 million people. And lots of people I know said, oh, I'm going to London. And I keep saying to them, you do realise how crowded it's going to be.
Having to snake across Lambeth Bridge to the South Bank, over to Tower Bridge, we think, and then back and over Lambeth Bridge back into Westminster. It's going to be a long, long way to wait.
Absolutely right. I queued with my dad, 1965, for Winston Churchill's lying in state, and that was over the bridge, as you just described. 4 hours that took. That took 4 hours.
Without all the security that we had in place.
It was nothing like today. Nothing like the restrictions we have today. If people want to go, and I hope lots of people do, and pay their respects, they are going to have a very, very long wait indeed. They better take their camping gear.
And when people make that journey, of course, they're not directly comparable, but you were there for the public mourning of Diana, and you would have spoken to all the people who felt it was so important to make that journey, even though people will now be hearing that they might have to queue for 23 hours, etc. But just tell us why people felt it was so important to be there.
Well, I think you should go back, actually, and look at the old newsreels, you know, look at earlier coronations, look at the end of the Second World War, the Queen and the Princess, or Queen-to-be, as she was then, Princess Elizabeth. And,
who went out on the streets to join the celebrations.
With her sister, and got told off by a senior officer for not wearing a cap properly and all that sort of thing, who didn't recognise her, of course. But the crowds were vast. People do sometimes... There's an occasion in our lives when people want to be there. They want to witness the historical moment for themselves to feel it. And that's a terrific thing, I have to say.